Now, as you may or may not know, there's a new firmware for the DJI Fly app. Does it help the Mavic Mini 1? Stay tuned. So, I noticed a couple of days ago, actually about a week ago, that people were talking about the firmware that came down for the app, the DJI Fly app for the Mini 1 version 1.2.0, that a lot of them were complaining about there's connection problems with the Wi-Fi and it doesn't go out very far at all, and the video would break up and you would lose signal with the aircraft constantly. And in the video I did the other day, when I compared the DJI Mavic Mini to the Mini 2, and I kind of threw in the Spark also just for some comparison, I actually had that problem as well, where the Mini was actually going out and it was very choppy at 200, 300, 400 feet out, and all of a sudden it would lose signal and the aircraft would disconnect and then it would return to home. And I thought that was kind of unusual, although I do live in a very high Wi-Fi traffic area. So I figured, hey, there's a new firmware that came down. It's 1.2.1 and it's for your phone. It is available for Android and also Apple iOS. And I figured I'd download it. I had a sneaking suspicion that it was going to actually put a firmware onto the drone, and it did not. It was just the app that updated. So I figured, well, let me go ahead and fly the drone, see how it does, the original Mavic Mini. And I flew out 600-700 feet, and there was no connection issue, no laggy stuff. I still had all bars for Wi-Fi signals. And that was in the same congested area where I live. So I thought, hey, this is potentially something good. Now, did they purposefully mess up the Wi-Fi signal on the Mavic Mini 1 to force people to buy the Mini 2? There's a lot of people that debate about that, and I really don't think that that's what happened. I think that as they were fine-tuning the Mavic Air 2 firmware, or should I say software, for the app and also for the Mini 2, inadvertently somewhere the Wi-Fi got messed up. Now, there's no download that went into the drone. It was strictly just on the app. And what I suspect is that they've actually boosted up the signal on the Wi-Fi. Since it's supposed to be enhanced Wi-Fi, I think they boosted up the signal transferring or transmitting out of your phone to the drone itself. So that may be what it is that's corrected this issue, but I just kind of flew it around a little bit, and it wasn't ideal conditions at all for me to fly, considering that it was very overcast today. And if you look at the wind speeds today, it was 17 miles an hour up to 31 mile per hour gust, and it was definitely a 31 mile per hour gust. And I'll say I got a bunch of high wind warnings with the original Mavic Mini, but all in all, it did pretty good. Now, if you look at the software notes or the firmware updates for the app itself, it says it fixes an issue of weak signal, adjust antennas, pop-up message did not appear automatically when using the Mavic Mini, fix some issues, and optimizes overall app quality. So it is a pretty big little update. It's 317.5 megabytes. So anyway, I just thought I'd just let you know, if you do have the DJI Mavic Mini, number one, definitely update the software. I know a lot of people were really worried about going to the 1.2.0 and all the problems that it had, and a lot of people were talking about reverting back to firmware and the app version and all that stuff. And apparently DJI, they've listened, they fixed it. So hopefully this is very helpful to you. If it is, give the video a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing here. I do a lot of tech reviews. Majority of it's been action cameras, but I also do drone reviews. I do microphone reviews, gimbal reviews, and a ton of other stuff. So if you're new here, hey, welcome to the family. Consider subscribing. And until the next video, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Or megabits, megabytes. Megabytes? Yeah, megabytes. Megabits are a lot smaller.